3, 2, 1. Shalom. Can I get some more help? Shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Rob. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat. You've been smoking pot? She says Shabbat shalom. So, welcome everybody to the Ark in New Jersey. We haven't been around for a minute, but we're good. We're still here, and I'm grateful to be here. Hopefully, you're having a good day. You had a good week, and we're moving right along. Bear with me for a minute. We are finishing our text. We're finishing our talk about the Hebrew Nazarite. So as we he's bringing mail in, as we sit down for a minute, we're just going to talk about this guy Samson. As everybody gathers to gets on board, let's do this here. So if you saw my title, I want to talk about the great ending of the Nazarite. You've probably heard me say this before. Maybe you haven't. You guys, you're a track star, right? So what's your coach always tell you about you? How should you finish your race? Finish strong. Leave everything on the track. Right? That's good. That's good. When in competing, you want to be able to say you gave it. Help me out. You're what? I'm trying to get everybody's attention here. When competing, you want to say you gave it your what? Your all, right? You don't want to compete and give half or leave half of an effort in. If watching like the Super Bowl's coming up tomorrow, if you watch the Super Bowl and you see a quarterback out there and you think he could have did a lot better, or he only gives 70% of himself, you can see it. You can see that person's effort. And if he doesn't give 100% and they lose, you don't condemn the rest of the team. Why? You condemn the quarterback because he's like, he didn't give 100%. He didn't leave it all on the field. So, yeah. What else is there? Like, what do you do in life that you don't give 100%? I love watching AI play basketball because he gave 100%. I've never seen him play a game where I said he wasn't himself. Even in sickness, I think what everyone loves about Kobe Bryant was that every game he seemed to have given 100%. Like throughout the whole game. No breaks, no hesitation. When he was called to perform his duty, he did whatever he could do. So that kind of would make me ask you a question. Do you give 100%? Because I can honestly say I don't give 100% in some areas of my life. Some areas of my life I would say I wish I had tried harder. Anybody here been involved in something and they felt like they didn't give 100%? Huh? You're making faces over there. Oh, yeah, Benny. You ever feel like you did something and you didn't give 100%?
Yeah.
You want to share?
I would say law school.
Law school? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't give 100% like I should. I was used to everything coming easy to school. But law school is like learning and speaking a new language. And I didn't take that seriously. So,
Do
yeah.
you think because everything was coming so easy when you had the challenge, you didn't and maybe you weren't prepared for it because you weren't prepared for the fight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared or understood the that I had to spend a lot of time studying. I never had to spend a lot of time studying.
Mm.
I was always the last minute writing papers, so that's when I did my best work. But in law school, you need to study just a little bit more. Undergrad, it's two different languages.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't take that serious as I should. I didn't give. If I would have gave 100%, if I would have buckled down and studied and focused, then yeah, it would have probably been a different outcome.
Mm.
Yeah.
What about you, Tashua? You got anything that you would say you want to add to this not giving 100%?
Same thing, but like high school and undergrad, and definitely did not give everything I could have and tried, but that's all due to like distractions and not being focused.
Distractions and not being focused. I like that because I know when, being ex-track stars or track runners, I don't only call myself a star, I just say I was a track runner. But I don't think that I gave 100% when I was performing because of distractions, right? Went out and had to get myself a job, had to do other things. So, Mark,
Yes.
what have you in your life? Have you done anything where you felt like you haven't given 100%?
That's the majority of the things that have happened in my life. I haven't given 100%.
He said everything. Any one thing in particular?
Yeah, when I was coming up as an athlete in high school, I was always inclined to do things. So like basketball, I didn't train at it. I just was I picked it up and I understood how to do it even when I didn't have the skill set to do it. So if I could go back and fix at least one thing, that might have been one of them. In hindsight, maybe not, but like that's the one at the time that I know that I could have done better than I did.
Yeah.
By far.
I said something about AI earlier, and so you put AI and compare them to Kobe, right? And Kobe's stats are way up here, like top 3 in a lot of areas. And Iverson's good, he's a lot shorter, but he didn't make that. He's not all the way up there where Kobe was. And I think you can challenge me on this. I think the main problem that AI had was practice. He didn't want it. He was good enough. And he was like, I don't need to. But if he had pushed himself, like if he really wanted to push himself, I think that AI could have been one of those few people that put up 80 points like Kobe, without question. I know that he dropped 50 and wasn't even sweating. So I know that if he had really put the effort towards it, he could be the top 3 highest scores of anybody of any time. But he refused to. He was, what was that word you just used? Distracted. He was distracted. Often he was distracted. And I kind of like, what's that?
It doesn't sound like he was distracted. It sounded like he was motivated being in the practice. He was good enough. He was motivated to be better.
Well, I don't know. I think he thought he was as good as I don't know if he thought he could as good as he could get, but I didn't think he thought it was necessary for him to do anything more.
And also they have different people glory in different things. Like the older I got, when I would play basketball frequently, after a while I stopped caring about winning as much as the ebb and flow of competing.
Mm.
Because it's like, number one, if I act like a madman, y'all can't do anything with me. Like if I get in that zone, but then as I learn more, it's like it's a fuel economy to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's bright candles burn fast and everything like that too. At least be philosophical when you're pointing.
No, that's fine. So let's turn to this character who was distracted, who was the judge, he was born with, some people say born with a spoon in his mouth, silver spoon in his mouth. He was born with the mantle of being a Nazarite. He never knew a day when he wasn't a Nazarite. The Nazarite is a vow that people would take, and you could take it for a year, take it for a few years, and you could turn it off and on. You could say, I'm going to do this for time that I dedicate my life to Yah. But then, okay, I'm going to do it for 6 months. I'm going to do it for a year, or I'm going to do it for 3 years, right? He didn't have that choice. He was born he was a, what do they call pastors' kids? A PK. He was born into this. Like, he had no choice. He couldn't cut his hair. He had to eat certain or not eat certain things because that was his lot in life. It's funny because when we look at other people, sometimes we want to prejudge them because he should have did this or should have did that. Now you look at Kobe Bryant's. We would use these two people's names because I just brought them up. You look at Kobe Bryant's upbringing and you look at Iverson's upbringing. Iverson came out of the hood and didn't have anybody. He didn't have come out of. He was not blue blooded. He was not his father wasn't a basketball player. So when he came up, this was all new to him. This wasn't new to Kobe because Kobe only knew NBA or professional sports. His father was a professional athlete. They expected him to be. They saw the gift, and I'm sure Jelly Bean said, let's make sure that that's his dad, make sure that we take this and mold it into be what it turned out to be. And so you look at their history and their past, and your upbringing sometimes hinders you or helps you. It sometimes slows you down or causes you to go into a direction that maybe other people wouldn't go. And because AI came out of Hampton, Virginia area, Newport News, where he was involved in nothing around him seemed to be anybody prospering unless they were selling drugs, to come into, voila, you're a rich guy now. You're a billionaire. And then he had to figure that out as he grew up, where Kobe already saw that and saw wealth in front of him. Big difference. Coming up as a ward of the state, which I was, my history was something different than someone coming from a family with a father and a mother and living at home, or even with a single mom if you live with your mom. I grew up as my parents were the ward of the state. I was a ward of the state, so the state was my parents. All right, so it's different when you have that different background to work from. Um, this particular man grew up being taught by parents that had been taught by angels. that had an angel had actually downloaded the program for their son into mommy and daddy. So when he grew, he knew what he was to be and became the leader of a um, a group of people that were sat into a position of captivity. They were not totally free. And yet he was their leader. He was directing, he was their, as they say, judge. And when we see where we're at now, Samson had just gone through. I'm going to let you answer the question. What did Samson do so far? What did we learn from Samson? His wife. Remember that?
He had a foreign wife.
He had a foreign wife,
He
which he probably never even went to bed with.
he had the inclination to kind of contradict what the priests are supposed to do. Between he ripped open the lion and he ate honey from it, fed it to his parents. He feats of strength, obviously, like he was he had to
tied up the goat, the foxes, and
tied him up by the tails, even with the whole riddle. And he when his wife betrayed him, he took the jaw of the animal and beat and killed a bunch of people with it.
Jawbone of an ass, right? We talked about that, and I don't know that I broadcast. I don't know that I did broadcast that, but the jawbone of an ass was like a sickle. They used it back in the day to cut down the wheat. And Samson had burned down all the land, and the only thing that was close by was some bones. And he saw these bones, and why was it a jawbone there? Because jawbone, if you look at the jawbone, it's actually shaped like a sickle. They used that jawbone, and they used it as a sickle, and the teeth were still in it. So long as the teeth were in it, it was sharp enough to cut through the wheat till the teeth fell out or it got dull, and they threw it to the side, and they went and grabbed another one. And so whenever the donkey would die, they would make sure that they saved these jawbones. When the wood, everything was burnt down from the foxes, everything was left. The only thing left on the field was burnt wheat and jawbones. Yeah. So what else? What other feat did he? So we saw all these different feats, and he came back to his wife. Well, you remember what happened with his wife on the honeymoon before they even got to be together?
One of the people who were there as his supporters ended up being with his wife.
Well, first they gave Samson, and this is important. They gave him 30 damsels to play with. That was like his bachelor party. I think it was 30. Was it 30?
You said the companions.
Just after he married his wife, before you can look it up, before he even spent time with her, they gave him like 30 women to play with. This is all important because in your life, somebody Satan, is looking at you and trying to figure out where is the weak spot. What is that one thing that's going to cause you to falter or fail? He's figured it out to a point that, look at TV. All of our weak spots are right there. And we'll be sitting there looking at something in between a TV and a commercial or whatever. He's tickling our bones, our nerves, and causing us to want to go out and get something and go out and do something, go out and be something. So Mark's looking it up. It should be
Chapter 14, verse 11.
okay, 14:11.
It came to be when they saw him that they brought 30 companions to be with him.
Yeah, they brought 30 companions to be with him. Why is this important? We talked about distraction, right? They started seeing a pattern that he must like certain things, right? So they came to him and they gave him. These are, now when you start dabbling in marrying strange women, what comes along with marrying strange women? Help me.
Idols.
Idols.
Oh, God.
Their, what's the word? Let's see, their customs, right? Their behavior, their pattern, right? Which is against ours. Okay. Go ahead. Let's read through Judges 16. Yes.
Quick question. I'm trying to understand the 30 because I don't see that, and maybe I'm trying to.
Come on.
Maybe it's different versions because all the ones that I'm looking at it says.
Yeah, second thing, what?
14.
14 and 11.
The Philistines saw him, they selected 30 men to accompany him. I'm just trying to understand a little bit of.
The Hebrew word is Merim, 48:28. Friends, companions, advisors, companions, and friends. And the sense of companionship, friend.
Okay.
30%. This here says that 30 companions. His wife's relations paid him the accustomed respect of the place upon that occasion and brought him 30 young men.
You have to speak up, please.
His wife's relations paid him the accustomed respect of the place upon that occasion and brought him 30 young men to keep him company during the solemnity, and to attend him as his groomsmen and guard upon him were spies to observe him. The first 12.
What verse are you? What book are you reading?
That's like the study commentary, but verse 12, going off what you were saying, talks about how he posed the bread one day. He never did that.
Okay, because I understood this to be verse 10. Verse 10. So his father went down unto the women, and Samson was there at the feast, and so used the young men too. Like this was a custom that they used to do. And they came and they saw him and they brought him 30 companions. They're not men.
They were. It doesn't say any of it where I see anything, but it just says companions.
Also, when you cross-reference the verse, they had this thing on this treasury of scripture, like one of the ones that they used in similar. And Yahusha said to them, "Can the children of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? But they will come and the bridegroom should take it from them and they should fast." And then another one John 3:29, he that has the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom, which stands and hears him, rejoices greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. This is my joy, therefore. This is my joy, therefore it is fulfilled. Fulfilled. That's John the Baptist, I believe.
Okay.
So like I just, or Yahushua rather than John 3. But like how, I'm just trying to see where the concubines of the women come in.
Mm-hmm. Well, I assume I used an assumption. I read through that and assumed that they were female companions. It says companions. So I just put in there female myself. Now you can read through that. Like I don't know why they would give him a bunch of men.
They were like his best.
It's like a bridal party. Like, and it may not have been men and all men or all women. It could have been it was a party.
Okay.
So like what I take from what's there is the father went down with the fiance to the family,
right,
and then they came back with 30 companions. That's how I see it, like or recognize what's there. I don't know.
Like they do with the knocking ceremony, how the man and his family have to go to the woman's house for her family.
See, I didn't even know that. Like I just like fascinated. Like they priest. He's a priest. Like they gonna bring him 30 women. I didn't see that there were women, and I was looking at the word, and it just says friend.
It just says companion.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So we move on, but we'll go back and do a little bit more investigating on that later on. All right. So let's go to. We're going to see a pattern, though. Whether they were men or women, you're still going to see a pattern here. Let's go to 16. 16:1.
You ready?
Yes.
And Shem.
I'm sorry. You're in chapter 16 or verse 16?
Chapter 16.
Judges chapter 16, verse 1. And Shimshon went to Azar and saw an Asher there, a Zonah, which is a whore, and went into her. The Azathites, saying, Shimshon has come here. So they went round and lay in wait for him all evening at the gate of the city and kept silent all night, saying, in the morning, when it is daylight, then we shall kill him.
Okay, so where is Samson at? First,
whorehouse.
Yeah, but let's look at the location. Okay, so what happened in Gaza? Anybody have any
Back then, you mean?
what this location? All right. So we're going to find out. Because we're going to look at Gaza. Because this is important. All this is important. Because it all paints a picture. You're going to see the nationality of people. You're going to see the characteristic of what's going on. Because all people want to, when they talk about Samson and Delilah, at the end, it's like, oh yeah, there was three things that he tried. He lied to her, and she cut his hair off and whatever. So let's go. Go to Genesis chapter 10. Hang with me, guys. Genesis 10. Bereshit 10. We want to see who this whore is that Samson was lying with, or at least where she's from.
You want the whole thing? Or you want certain people's children?
We want to get down to chapter 10, verse.
The sons of Shem started 22. The sons of Ham started 6. And the sons of Yafet started 1.
Sorry, 22. Where's Ham start?
6.
Oh, let's read about Ham.
Genesis 10:6.
10:6.
And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim, and Put and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Sheba,
And my other one.
Hulah, and Sabata, and Rama, and Sapaka. And the sons of Rama, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush brought forth Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the Aretz.
Mm-hmm.
He was a mighty hunter before Yahweh. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yah.
And so Ham is what? Where is he coming from? He's a Hamite, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You talk about Nimrod.
Nimrod.
Yeah, Cush and Nimrod are children of Ham.
Mm-hmm.
He was a mighty hunter before Yahweh. Therefore it is said.
What verse are we in?
Verse 9. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning of his reign was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. From that land he went to Ashur, and built Nineveh, and Rebel, and Kala, and Rezin, between Nineveh and Kala, the great city. And Mitzrayim brought forth Ludim, and Anamim, and Lahabim, and Naptuhim, and Pathusim, all these names, and Kalushim, from whom came the Philistine, and the Caphothim. And Canaan brought forth Sidon, his firstborn, and Kaf, and the Yebusi, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite, and the Kuai, and the Arkite, and the Sinite, and the Archi, and the Samarite, and the Hamathite. And afterward the clans of the Canaanites were spread abroad. And the border of the Canaanites was from Zidon, as you go toward Gerar, as far as Azah, as you go toward Sodom, and Amorah, and Admah, and Zaboim, and as far as Lasha. These were the sons of Ham,
Reverse.
according to their clans.
Go back to 19.
The border of the Canaanites was from Zidon, as you go toward Gerar, as far as Azah, as you go toward Sodom, and Amorah, and Admah, and Zeboim, as far as Lasha.
Hold on.
Those are in there.
Here it is. It's verse 19. I had to find it in my.
Azah?
Yes. So there it is in verse 19. Gaza.
Oh, okay.
All right. And it's real close to where?
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right on the neighbor of Sodom and Gomorrah is this land where Samson decided to go find a whore.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you know where to go if you want to get your needs met.
Mm-hmm.
They knew he was coming in land because here's a righteous man walking into an area or a neighborhood that's really an unrighteous neighborhood. Neighborhood full of hoes and sodomites and anything else that you can think of. So when you come here, the first thing you see is, oh, he went there. He went to the land where this would be something easy to find.
Well, the other thing said in the part was that he wasn't him. Like they were.
Right.
Right. So as soon as he shows up, they're like, oh, go ahead.
It kind of made me think of that slang, where the hoes at.
Where the hoes at?
That's where he went.
He went right there.
I didn't never notice that. I didn't even know Gaza was with Sodom and Gomorrah. If you should ask for Sodom and Gomorrah on the map, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I would be able to tell you.
So
he got him on the map still.
Yep.
so it's something that you're going to see in his characteristic is this guy's distracted by his flesh, right? Huh?
I didn't know until just now that Delilah was his wife. I'm saying, looking at 10 to Delilah. I'm just like, what is that? I'm like,
No.
No, and this is good because the more you look at this, the last thing you want to do is be mentioned and have an evil commentary about yourself. No other woman is named in the book. In this whole thing about Samson, his wife's not mentioned. I mean, her name's not named. The hoe's name's not named. His mother's name's not named. And then Delilah shows up.
That's true.
It's like, and then the commentary about her is not good. Samson means, the name of Samson means strong like the sun or something like that. So he's strong. The name of Delilah is weak. A weak woman with a fantastic body. You must think she had a fantastic body because he went for it. All right. So just reading through this first verse, you start finding out that Samson is like, you know what he's like? He's like the people that grow up in the PK kids, and when he got a chance to get out, he cut loose and let everything out because he felt like he wasn't able to do it when he was younger. So now Samson's out. He's out there, and he's lost his wife, and they actually said that he gave his wife to his best man. And so here he goes. He's ticked off, and he's killing a lot of Philistines. A lot of Philistines, more than what's written in the book. He was killing because that was his assignment. All right. That was verse 1. Verse 2. And so verse 1, Samson decides to go and find himself some hoe. And it says he went into her. That means he went into her. This is not for children. It says, I said that when we started up. It said he went into her, right? All right. Verse 2.
And the Nazarite saying, Shimshon has come here. So they went round and lay in wait for him all the evening at the gate of the city and kept silent all night, saying, in the morning, when it is daylight, we shall kill him. Now when Shimshon lay until midnight and rose at midnight, and took hold of the doors of the gate of the city and the two gateposts, and pulled them up with the bar, he put them on his shoulders and took them to the top of the hill that faces Kebron. And it came to be afterward that he loved an Asher in the Wadi Sorek, whose name was Delilah.
Okay, he took the post to where?
He took the doors of the gates of the city and the two gateposts and pulled them up with the bar and put them on his shoulders and took them to the top of the hill that faces Kebron.
Now, see, this started getting my attention because I'm like, all right, now I got to look at all these locations because all the locations mean something. So this word is Kedron, is Hebron, and you find in some of your other books. So I'm like, okay, so where can I find this? Genesis 13. Bereshit. Because you're going to start seeing a pattern. If you bear with me, I'm sure you're going to see it. So he got ticked off. Now it didn't even say that he killed anyone in there. It didn't. It all said that he picked up these gates and he took off, and it tells you where he took them to.
Genesis 13.
Yes, 13, and let's read down from 1 to 18.
And
Stop at
Abram,
18.
and Abram went up from Mizraim into the south, he and his Asher and all that he had, and Lot with him. And Abram was very rich in livestock, and silver and in gold. And he went on his journey from the south as far as Bethel, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, to the place of the altar which he had made there at first. And there Abram called the name of Yahweh. Now Lot, who went with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents, and the land was not able to bear them, that he might dwell together. For their possessions were great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was a strife between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. And at that time, the Canaanites and the Perizzites dwelt in the land. Then Abram said to Lot, please, let there be no strife between you and me, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brothers. Is not all the land in front of you? Please, separate from me. If you take the left, then I go to the right, or if you go to the right, then I go to the left. And Lot lifted his eyes and saw all the plain of the Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before Yahweh destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, like the garden of Yahweh, like the land of Mizraim as you go towards Zoar. So Lot chose for himself all the plain of the Jordan, and Lot moved east. Thus they separated from each other. Abram dwelling in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelling in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent as far as Sodom. But the men of Sodom were evil and sinned before Yahweh, exceedingly so. And after Lot had separated from him, Yahweh said to Abram, now lift up your eyes and look from the place where you are, northward and southward and eastward and westward. For all the land which you see shall I give to you and to your seed forever. And I shall make your seed as the dust of the Eretz, so that if a man could count the dust of the Eretz, then your seed also could be counted. Arise, walk in the land through its length and its width, for I give it to you. So Abram moved his tent and went and dwelt by the terebinth trees of Mamre, which are in Hebron, and built an altar there to Yahweh.
So there's an altar built by Abraham in the land. Samson must have been like bipolar. At one moment, he looking at Sodom and Gomorrah, and the next moment he's taking the gates, and he's moving back towards the land of Abraham. Now, the land of Abraham was not the most fair land. The most fair land was the land of Sodom and Gomorrah, where Lot decided to go. Right now, this is also this burying place of. You can read, study, and look at that up. This is also the burying place of Abraham's wife, Sarah. So he's got altars built. This is a holy location. All right, so let's go back to
16,
Genesis 16, Judges 16, and verse 4.
And it came to be afterward that he loved an Asher in the Wadi Sorek, whose name was Delilah.
And now Delilah.
And the princes of the Philistines came up to her and said to her, entice him and find out where his great strength lies, and see by what we might overpower him. Then we shall bind him to humble him, and let us give you, each one of us, 1,100 pieces of silver.
Okay, so let's take a couple of little more journeys. The name Delilah is feeble, weak. You look it up, it's Strong's 1808. The root word is 1809. Someone have it, you can read it. While we're looking it up, 2 calls. Judges 6:6 and Job 28:9. Earlier in Samson's life, 3,000 or was it 300 men came up opposed against him, and he ended up killing him. So they realized a whole bunch of people is not going to work. So they used someone that was weak in their mind but strong in their body. I saw something on my TV the other day looking for a what did that say? No, I forget. So anybody, you find it?
Strong 1808.
Yes.
Dahlia, which means a branch or a bow.
Okay, go down to the go to 1809, which is the root word.
Dala.
Mm-hmm.
Dalet Lamed Chet. It means to draw water. To draw out enough, lift up. A primitive root properly to dangle, to let down a bucket, figuratively to deliver, draw, X enough, lift up. So see Hebrew Dala.
1807. I got the wrong word. 1807.
Oh, okay. Oh. Delilah.
Mm-hmm.
Philistine mistress of Samson.
What's the definition of her?
It means that's what they give. They literally said the Philistine.
Outline of the biblical uses of the word Delilah is feeble. The root word is 1809. The etymology of the word. 1809 is
1809 is to hang, to be low, to languish,
mm-hmm.
to be brought low,
to be brought low,
to fade, to look wistfully,
mm-hmm. Weak, look weakly of eyes, like when you try it, when you feel like when you can see this is when you've been watch the boxer. I like sports. We were talking about sports too. Watch the boxer that's just got his butt whipped and he's sitting in the corner and he's got to go back out another round. Mm-hmm. And you can see sometimes in their eyes, they don't want to go back. Mm-hmm. They're like, please don't make me go back out there.
That makes sense.
Because I've already been beaten down.
Right.
Don't let me go back out there to get beat down some more.
Even the original word, the Dalet, Lamed and Lamed, the Dalet is the door. No, the Dalet is the please.
Yeah, the door, the entrance, the door.
So the eyes are the window to the soul or the entrance.
Mm-hmm.
So like the 2 laments is like 2.
Both your eyes are just have been brought low. Yeah. When we walk, we were told at a time, don't look at their eyes. When you walk past them, lower your eyes.
Right.
We still have that. We still have that. We've been beaten down by the enemy. Yeah. So that when we walk past them, we like lower our eyes. We do it if you don't do it, if you're black and you see a police officer and you drive by him, look at him in his eyes. Just look at him and see if he doesn't, you think you something. They will pull you over just for looking at him. We try to ignore them because we don't want them to see us looking at him. Because when they see us looking at him, instantly they think, oh, what's he up to? He think he's something, and then they pull you over. Okay, so Job 6:6. Judges 6:6.
You want 6?
Judges 6:6. Yes, jot back.
And Israel was greatly impoverished because of the Midianites, and the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh. And it came to pass, when the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh because of the Midianites, that Yahweh sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which said unto them, Thus saith Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt, and brought you forth out of the house of bondage, and I delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of all that oppressed you.
They were greatly what?
Impoverished.
That's the same word. They were cast down. They were so
Very low.
very low, broken. Okay, Job 28 and 4.
The flood breaketh out from the inhabitant, even the waters forgotten of the flood. They are dried up, they are gone away from men.
See, now the English doesn't play right. They were dried up. They were very low. It's the same word, same Hebrew word. So the word's telling you that you can be cast down by almost, it almost doesn't make sense if you're so strong.
Right.
That they would send, they do it all the time. We see it in the movies, right? You got James Bond. What's James Bond's villain? James Bond's villain's always a woman. You know, every James Bond got a woman trying to take him down. That's why when we look at James Bond, he's always in bed because the woman is always trying to get him because he can't get him any other way because he's like Samson.
You can't understand it. It seems asinine and silly unless you've been through something with a woman.
Yeah.
Because once you have, it's like, oh, I get that. Like she brought him to humiliation.
Now watch this. This weak, pitiful woman. Her name is renowned throughout generations, but she's a weak, pitiful woman from out of the land of the uncircumcised Philistines. So let's read it. Because glamour is not everything that it's made out to be. Because we see the shape and we're like, and our eyes swell up and our brain starts working and we start thinking about everything but Yah. All right.
Are you using the word weak as a definition of being physically weak? Is that what you're saying?
How's that?
Because people have different strengths, and when you use the word weak, you mean that she was physically weak.
I said feeble. The book calls her feeble.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not masculine. She's not strong. Like, well, I'm not talking about her physical strength.
She's a feminine woman.
Right.
Like very baby,
Right.
dainty.
But she wasn't actually weak, and she had her own strengths.
Yeah, I didn't. If I said weak, I didn't mean to call her weak. More feeble.
Maybe that's what you did. The picture you get when you use the word people. When the word people is used, and so that's
yes. So that's the definition of her name.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and she watch her. Let's watch Delilah and see what motivates her, and because in this whole thing she is motivated. She's like the okay, she's like the Playboy bunny or the girls that's spread in the magazines. They're not weak per se, but they're doing this for what reason would they do that?
Selling.
Hmm?
Like in other words, that's That's her appeal is her fragility is her appeal to a man like a Samson who can rip a lion and to shred. He's like, oh yeah, I need something soft to go lay by.
And the thing about this girl, I kind of understand because she's doing this for the money.
Yeah,
She does. She does have a. She knows she's gonna get paid, and she gets paid. She gonna get paid because she. This is her. She's a hoe. She only doing it for the money. I don't understand when the women do this, like um the cheerleaders. They ain't getting paid unless they marry one of the football players. They're getting very low in their pay.
they're not really allowed to fraternizing.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they do, they got to marry. They got to quit their job, and he may get in trouble or whatever. And if they do have a relationship with them, they got to do it undercover. So and they get paid only if they do a magazine or do something else. But for the most part, they're just like running around, and they're doing a whole lot for nothing. At least this girl's getting paid. All right, let's go.
What number?
Let's start at 4 again
And it came to be
because we found out where she lived at.
afterward that he loved an Asha in the Wadi Saret, whose name was Delilah.
Then the problem right there, before we move forward, the problem right there is that he gave his affection to this woman. It says that he loved her. Everyone else it says he went into or he was trying to go. It didn't actually, he never really showed his love or never really said that he really loved the woman besides the first wife. He did say he loved her, came back to her, and they were like, don't act like you loved her. That's why we gave her over to the Philistine, to your best man. All right, so he says right here it says the scripture says that he loved the woman. Come on.
And the princes of the Philistine came up to her and said to her, entice him, and find out where his great strength lies, and see by what we might overpower him. Then we shall bind him to humble him, and let us give you, each one of us, 1,100 pieces of silver.
Now, we don't know how many people were there, but each one is pocketing 1,100 pieces of silver for her. Does she get paid?
No.
See what happens.
And Delilah said to Shimshon, please reveal to me where your great strength lies, and by what you might be bound to humble you. And Shimshon said to her, if they bind me with 7 fresh cords, not yet dried, then I shall be weak and be like any other man. The princes of the Philistine men brought her 7 cords, fresh, not yet dried, and she bound him with them, while those lying in wait stayed with her in the room. And she said to him, the Philistine are upon you, Shimshon. But he broke the cords as a strand of yarn breaks when it touches fire. So the secret of his strength remained unknown. And Delilah said to Shimshon, look, you have mocked me and spoken lies to me. Now please reveal to me by what you might be bound. And he said to her, if they bind me tightly with new ropes that have never been used, then I shall be weak and be like any other man. And Delilah took the new ropes and bound them with them and said to him, the Philistine are upon you, Shimshon. And those lying in wait were sitting in the inner room, but he broke them off his arms like a thread. So Delilah said to Shimshon, until now you have mocked me and spoken lies to me. Reveal to me how you might be bound. And he said to her, if you weave the 7 locks of my head with the web. And she fastened it with a pin and said to him, the Philistine are upon you, Shimshon. But he awoke from his sleep and pulled out the pin of the loom and the web. Then she said to him, how dare you say I love you when your heart is not with me? You have mocked me these 3 times and have not made known to me where your great strength lies.
Hold on, because something happens right now. Go ahead.
And it came to be when she
And it came to pass, or it came to be. So when you get through this verse, you're going to find out that the first three things seem to have happened repetitively, like right away. But then after 3 strikes, she didn't come right back to him and get an answer from him immediately. It said it came to pass. That means there was some time that lapsed. Come on.
And it came to be when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him, so that his being was wearied to death, that he made known to her all his heart. It said to her, no razor has ever come upon my head, for I have been a Nazir to Elohim from my mother's womb. If I was shaven, then my strength will leave me, and I will become as weak as any other man. And Delilah saw that he had made known to her all his heart. And she sent and called for the princes of the Philistines, saying, come up once more, for he has made known to me all his heart. So the princes of the Philistines came up to her and brought the money in their hand. She made him sleep on her knees and called for a man and shaved off the 7 locks of his head. Thus she began to humble him, and his strength left him. And she said, the Philistines are upon you, Shimshon. And he awoke from his sleep and said, let me go out as before at other times and shake myself loose. But he didn't know that Yahweh had turned away from him.
Okay, so let's go back to 16. 19.
Verse 19. And she made him sleep on her knees and called for a man to shave off the 7 locks of his head. Thus she began to humble him.
She began to, and the word that I saw in my book was afflict him. So the word afflict, I'm like, okay, what do you mean afflict him? So I looked it up. Strong's 6031. Anah. And she began to afflict him. Go to Genesis 6:15 and 13, please.
It was
Go ahead. No.
It's a key by his reader that I saw.
All right, I'm waiting for it.
Nobody just says let me find you up unless they're playing some kind of sex game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you think he was playing a sex game?
I know, that's what they said. So and it was a habit that they were doing, and like playing some kind of SNL or something, and then they bring some other guys in here to.
At least he thought that it was just him and her.
Right. Yeah, and they were in the inner courts waiting.
Yeah, so that's what I thought that was going on in there. It wasn't just like
even the weakening him.
I didn't know that. I thought sex games were new. I didn't know that they had them back then.
She didn't. She said she put him to sleep. She gave him something. They knocked him out, basically.
Right. Either that, or it was really
one
good.
Or the other. But that's what
he was out.
Even then, somebody's not gonna cut your hair off and you don't know anything about it.
Right. She made him fall asleep, and then when he comes back to his senses and something is wrong, it's like he's a big strong man, and that's the ebb and flow. That's the way a woman can weaken a man. The only other recourse would be what Simeon and Levi had done to them in the Shechem.
Right.
You have to physically and make them of no use one way or the other, but all of it is in the same part of the body.
Right. And so okay, since we're using our imagination, how did she afflict him? What did she do?
She turned him on with her charm, her physical.
Yeah, but she did something to him to know that he was weak. I think she bit him.
Why you say that?
Because the sex games, they be doing all kind of stuff. She did something to him, right? Okay. Look at me. I think she's like, whoa, look, a bruise. she did something to prove that, to know that, oh, I got him for good now. Because after she cut him, got his hair cut, it says that she afflicted him.
And I without getting too historical, like I recognize in reading this that there are, especially if a man is dumb and he's not following y'all, like there's a potency to the way that some women understand how efficient they can be in appealing to men. That's a lot of men in like the Senate and Congress would be able to tell you about that. But it's like, yeah, maybe she bit him.
She. Anybody got any other ideas?
No, we don't want to say these on TV.
But she did something to him,
right,
and proved that, oh, he was telling me the truth.
Yeah.
Scripture though.
After she proved it, then she went and told the other guy that offered to pay her.
She would make sure she get paid.
This time, yeah.
Right. That reminds me of the girl, the rapper Cardi B, talking about she used to drug guys that she used to prostitute for.
Yeah.
To drug them and take advantage of them. Delilah. And you see what she looked like.
Tying them all up, making them feel like, some people think that's good, you know, with the handcuffs on the bed and stuff. They think that's cute. I don't think that's cute with me. Don't tie me up. Robin has never tied me up.
How you guys doing? Nice to see you. Oh, okay.
Sorry. I need my freedom. We got what is it? What did they do when they gave us our freedom?
Did they give us something?
No, they didn't really.
Oh, right.
So let's look at this word afflict. I got 2 verses. Genesis 15:13.
I know this one.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to him, and he said to Abram, know for certain that your seed are to be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them.
Same word. There you go. Go ahead. For what?
They shall afflict them 400 years.
All right, jump over to the next chapter, 16:6.
And Abram said to Sarai, see, your female servant is in your hand. Do to her what is good in your eyes. And Sarai treated her harshly, and she fled from her presence.
That was her own sister wife, right? Was afflicting her.
Right.
All right, so the affliction can come in multiple ways. It can be somebody in your house. It can be a whole nation. It can be a Delilah. So she afflicted him, and she calls in the Pharisee, the Philistine, but she getting paid. So watch her actions. Anybody know what happened to Delilah at the end of the story? This is what's good about this story.
She died, right?
She fades away. Nobody even knows. She took her money and lived happily ever after. Isn't that crazy? No one ever thought, because she was she was a non-factor, or what do you call it? She was only a tool used by Satan. And you know what? She probably thought she got away with murder. But she probably thought it don't even say she died at the end, when everybody else died. And Delilah was in the midst, and she died as well.
They always depict it like she was dead, and like, I mean, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, well, you're looking at TV.
Yeah.
She was she was looking at him, and he was struggling, and then he pushed down the pillows, and next thing you know, they died, and Delilah died. Yes.
This kind of explains why he kept going to all the prostitutes.
He had a fetish. He had a ungodly desire to fulfill that flesh.
He was a
And
preacher.
huh?
And he was a preacher.
Yeah.
Remind me of a civil rights leader I heard of before.
and yeah, let my people go. and then he was, what's the word you use? He was distracted. He's distracted because he got somebody that he can play games with every day. And when Delilah was having a good time.
Kind way of putting it.
All right, where are we at?
I don't remember.
15. 16, 15.
16, 15. Then she said to him, how do you say, I love you when your heart is not with me? You have mocked me these 3 times and have not made known to me where your great strength lies. It came to be when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him, so that his being was wearied to death, that he made known to her all his heart, and said to her, no razor has ever come upon my head. For I have been a Nazir to Elohim from my mother's womb. If I was shaven, then my strength will leave me, and I will become as weak as any other man. And Delilah saw that he had made known to her all his heart. And she sent and called for the princess of the Philistines, saying, come up once more, for he has made known to me all his heart. So the princess of the Philistines came up to her and brought the money in their hand, and she made him sleep on her knees, and called for a man and shaved off the 7 locks of his head. Thus she began to humble him, and his strength left him. And she said, the Philistine are upon you, Shimshon. And he awoke from his sleep and said, let me go out as before at other times and shake myself loose. But he did not know that Yahweh had turned aside from him. So the Philistine took him and put out his eye, and brought him down to Abba, and bound him with bronze shackles. And he became a grinder in the prison. But the hair of his head began to grow again after it had been shaved.
Oh, the whole text. This is like I had to say uh-oh out loud because this was the moment that they should have said, uh-oh. Because his hair is starting. They know that they took his hair off of his head, right? If they start seeing it grow, if I was a Philistine, I would have been looking like, cut it off, keep it short, keep it off, because first of all, you're playing with something very deadly here. You know that he can do probably more than what he's ever done before. You got him weak. It's like taking the kryptonite off of Superman and you're his enemy.
But when we were coming down here, I was talking about Yahweh's plan of salvation. And what you just said, if it was you, because you know the outcome, but like it's kind of like the new Pharaoh forgot Joseph, because Yahweh had intended him to go into this circumstance all along, so that he could. If I use the analogy, like if we playing poker and I know that all night I'm gonna get the royal flush, I'm gonna let you put all your chips in and keep winning and keep winning and keep winning and keep upping the ante until you don't have nothing left. And in the same way, Samson, Joseph, Israel scattered to the four corners of the earth. It's all like this. As we were reading this, it's like, yeah, he like, yeah, all right, I see what Samson's doing. He's not doing what I designed him to do, but he's gonna do what I designed him to do.
Yeah, and so the hair growing is, if I could put it this way, it's symbolic of us regaining our knowledge,
right?
Because our hair is starting to grow. Right. We're starting to regain our strength. Right. Some of us don't even realize where we are. Like he didn't even realize where he was. Right. He didn't realize that, I may not have my eyes, but I have the strength coming back. Right. And most of us that are coming to truth are wounded in one way or the other. We're wounded. Our eyes have been all messed up because we've been seeing falsehood in front of us forever. And now our hair is growing back. Watch what happens, because this to me. I thought the ending was like I said. This was like a track race, like coming around the curve. I was dreaming of somebody running. I was at the high school, and I was watching somebody run, and they ran the last lap so strong. They were running a distance like a mile or a 2 mile run, and I watched him run. He ran the race so strong at the end. This was my dream last night. I was like, wow, watch this boy run. And I was talking to other people about, did you see how he finished that race? Like I was in the infield. Y'all is concerned about your finish, and you may have faltered, failed over and over. Nobody can say that more than Samson. He failed constantly. He had dreams and ambitions, and he was faltering and failing. And his hair started growing. And our hair is starting to grow. My hair started. Our hair is starting to grow. Our wisdom's starting to come back. Our knowledge of who we are is starting to come back. So when I see this is my aha moment. Like, wow, they didn't get it. And as we wake up, they don't get it. That's why they're saying we're a hate group. The church is saying, why are they leaving us? And they don't get it. Now who's blind?
If they weren't blind, then they wouldn't be. If they were really blind, they wouldn't be guilty. But because they say they're seen, they're going to be condemned. That's what Yahushua said.
And so here we are in in a nation, and a whole bunch of eyes being plucked out. But a whole lot of people are waking up. Their consciousness is waking up. Now watch this. Come,
Verse. Thank you. Where would I be without you? But the hair of his head began to grow again after it had been shaven. And the princes of the Philistines gathered to offer a great slaughtering to Dagon, the mighty one.
who?
Dagon. Dagon.
What verse?
Verse 23.
23. Everybody knows who Dagon is, right?
Today is the Pope's hat, but
the Pope's be wearing the hat, right?
Yeah.
And people want to know
It's the fish god.
the fish god. It's the god of fertility.
Easter.
He's the god of fertility. This is the god that they worship.
Oh, he's a training center. Dagon, their mighty one, and to rejoice. And they said, our mighty one has given Shimshon, our enemy, into our hands. And the people saw him and praised their mighty one, for they said, our mighty one has given into our hands our enemy.
Excuse me. Everybody got a mighty one. Everybody got a dollar. Hold on a minute. Gotta reach in my pocket. Everybody got a mighty one, right? Here's my dollar.
God, right?
Can you see that? Let's see if I can focus. It says it right there. In God we trust. Probably couldn't focus. Pull out a dollar and look at the back of it. In God, their mighty one. This was the mighty one of Delilah. Money. Their mighty one. And they bragged about it. Look what our God did. Can I say his name? Look what Jesus did. Look what it. We have the day is the day after they voted on having witnesses for the president for his impeachment, and they decided 49 to 51 not to have witnesses, and the 49 decided not to have witnesses because they were forced to not vote that way. It couldn't be because they wanted truth. because of their mighty one. And we'll leave that alone. You fill in the blanks. So these people, did anyone ever see the people, the Philistines had a mighty one? The Philistines had a god. They God. That was their mighty one. That's the one that Goliath worshiped. All right. Where are we at?
24.
24.
And the people saw him and praised their mighty one. For they said, our mighty one has given into our hands our enemy, the destroyer of our land, who slew many of us. And it came to be, when their hearts were glad, that they said, call for Shimshon and let him entertain us.
Okay. In the middle of the verse, and I'm getting ready to close out. In the middle of the verse, it says, let him, some books will actually put this word in. Let him make sport. Sport.
Great athletic feats.
Yes.
Well, that's what the separate as that.
So what?
That is entertainment, though.
That is entertainment.
That's all it is.
Is let's see how many rocks can he pick up. Let's see how fast he can throw the football. Let's see how high he can jump. Let's see what you don't get into the a perfect presence of Yah because you can bounce a basketball, because you can outbox everybody, because you can outrun everyone. As much as everyone's talking about Kobe, right? His physical attributes has nothing to do with his relationship with Yah. Actually, it probably is hindering him because he's getting paid so much money that he becomes the rich man that dies and says, but I. I'm not talking about just one particular person, because a lot of us think that our attributes that are outside of what the parameter of holiness we think we in, because we have been able to go to college and get all A's, or what do they call it, a 4.0 average, or because we've been able to achieve something that someone else is not able to achieve. Anyway, let's get back to Samson. They couldn't see. This is how blind they are. He's blind, right? They call him out to make sport. So what is he doing? He is actually doing something that they can't do. Blind. He's probably picking up things. He's probably showing how strong he is. But they got him in bonds. They're like, you can't do but so much. They think they're above him, but really they're below him because they are worshiping the false god. So let's look what happens, because it's like when I see the word sport, I actually looked up the word sport, and just because I was doing a lot of looking up these words, it was like, let's make him, he's going to make us laugh. We're going to play. Look at that Negro. I almost said that, right? Look at that Negro. Look at that Hebrew. Look at that fool out there. Throw the ball 10 feet high and see if he can catch it. And they were just laughing at him.
But even the second word, derision, like these same athletes who come through, they basically live Samson's life, and then they get on TV and they be Charles Barkley, and it'd be like, wait a minute, like you really gonna come through all of this? I remember one time he told somebody, he said, I wish I could go to them fans who say certain stuff that the camera don't pick up, and get the microphone and make them have to say what they just said to me, but then you still don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So derision is one of the words that's the same as with laughter and sport. They mock.
They just make. Do they do that with us at all? Mm-hmm. It's like every day. You can't look And if we, no matter where you are and no matter, and throughout the whole four corners of the world, if they can find us and put us on display, we on display. We on display in the soccer field all over Europe. We on display in the football field in America, the basketball field, the baseball field. We're everywhere. Wherever there's a chance for us to, okay, we're on display in entertaining, playing music. It's like and some of them use. I've been around long enough to hear these kind of words being said. Yeah, he can't do anything but play basketball. That's all he can do. Give the nig the ball and let him play. That's why when you have a phenomenon like Bryant, where they'll tell you that he can speak 4 or 5 languages or whatever, and he can play the piano and he can do this, and because he's demonstrating that he's more than just a ball player. All right, so they called out Samson, and they're the ones that he's the one that's blind, right? They can't see that he's gaining his strength, his hair is growing, and that they're like, pull him out and let him do this stuff. Let him play sport for us. Verse 26.
And Shimshon said to the young man who led him by the hand, "Let me alone, and let me fill the columns which support the house so that I can lean on it." And the house was filled with men and women, and all the princes of the Philistines were there. And about 3,000 men and women were on the roof, who watched Shimshon entertain. And Shimshon called to Yahweh, saying, "Master Yahweh, remember me, I pray. Strengthen me, I pray. Only this time, Elohim, and let me avenge myself on the Philistine with vengeance for my 2 eyes." And Shimshon took hold of the 2 middle columns which supported the house, and he braced himself against them, one on his right and the other on his left.
Okay, so the words for columns or pillars going to take you to a strange place. Someone go to Exodus 23, please. 13. Exodus 13. Just one verse. 21.
And Yahweh went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night.
The 2 pillars are the same word that he used for the 2 columns. So I thought of that. I'm like, what was Samson thinking? Is he thinking about their deliverance? One representing the pillar of cloud, one representing the fire, and Yah was protecting us at all times. Just something I want to bring up, because that word is like, whenever you find a word, you need to go back and see where it came from and what was it used for prior. And this was the same word that Yah used to describe his clouds. Those 2 columns protected his people. So he was removing the protection from the Philistines. All right. Verse 30.
And Shimshon said, "Let me die with the Philistine." And he bowed himself mightily, and the house fell on the princes and all the people in it. And the dead that he killed at his death were more than he had killed in his life. And his brothers and all his father's household came down and took him, and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the tombs of his father Manoah. And he had ruled Yisra'el 20 years.
And nowhere, this is amazing to me. Nowhere in this text did it say, and Delilah died with the Philistines. See the way y'all works this? Some people die wealthy. They have their reward. Their reward was given to them now. It's weird, because if I was writing it, I would have been like, and Delilah went like, what's the other one? The other woman that did wicked. Yes, fell from the window and the dogs ate her. Right? I want Delilah to have that kind of ending.
Out of Hebrews, she wasn't in Torah.
No.
She didn't have no covenant.
Because who was she? She a Hamite.
Right.
You don't give a rat's butt behind it. That I almost said dog. She was a whore, but you figure it out. Hallelujah. He really doesn't care about the foreigner. There's actually a scripture that says that you're considered like a spit in the, like his spit.
Spit in the bucket.
In the bucket.
Spit on the corner of the mouth.
Yah's concerned about Israel. And this is an Israel story about a hero of the faith who for 20 years defended his people. And at the end, he killed more. He killed. See, we don't want to hear that because that doesn't sound pretty. He killed more at his death because they had to go down. And we don't like that because, people are people. Somebody was in my house the other day saying that, everybody's the same. I was like, yeah, whatever. Let's sign the paper so you can get out. Yah has a purpose and a plan for you. You may have failed. You may have come up short over and over again. Stick to the course, get back on course, and finish the race. Finish, like, I've known people that when they got old, they went you really saw the nature of the person. I had one person that was in church all the time. And then when she got older, she had Alzheimer's or dementia. And she ended up, and you couldn't talk to her. They said that she cussed all the time. It was like, you ended up that way? I had someone else that I know that had the same characteristic, but when they got done, if you would talk to them and give them a little bit of the scripture, they'd be able to finish it, tell you where it is, or recite the whole verse or chapter because it was in them. How do you finish your race? Do you want to finish and everyone's passing you at the end? Or do you want to finish victoriously? Hopefully you want to finish strong. Finish with a gusto. Tear down the columns and bust everything wide open. There's definitely nothing that you can say about Samson about this ending. He may have been jacked up and playing his sex games and toys and whatever. But at the end, he was like, Yah, avenge my eyes and give me just one more chance. We serve a Yah of the second chance. As long as you have breath in your lungs and you have the mindset to turn to him, he will not turn away from you. So you got a chance. You got a chance. You wonder, like, almost, I'm done. You wonder, though, did Kobe have the second chance? He had a second chance with his family. He seemed to get that right. Because he seemed like he had wandered away from that for a minute. You don't know when your destination, your ending ends. I said this last week or a couple of weeks ago that you could be a teenager and you could be a senior citizen if that's your last year of life. So let a man examine himself and see if he's in the faith. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
If you would like to support the Ark of New Jersey, then you can Cash App us at the Ark NJ,
Okay.
and we would appreciate it. We'll be looking forward to seeing you, or you'll be looking forward to seeing me, whichever way it goes. Next week, we should be back on. So, hallelujah. Thank you, everybody. I saw your names popping up. Didn't get a chance to give everybody a shout out. I appreciate everybody that's here and everybody that's visited. Enjoy your day. And yeah, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.